This is Matt for Behind the Gloves in association with S-Jam Boxing. I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Spencer Fearon. Spencer, thanks for joining us.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How's things with you? It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a long day today. So spending time with my old dear because she had a small procedure today. So yeah, so I'm just spending time with my mum. But it's cool. It's kind of weird being around at me old in our old house. So yeah, but it's cool.
Everything all good? She all right?
Yeah, you know what? Praise be to God. My mum's 88 years young. So yeah, it's yeah.
No worries. Well, we wish you well, wish you and your mum well.
Cheers,
what I want to speak to you about, obviously, is fight week this week. We've got Anthony Joshua going up against, one of the pound for pound, best in the sport, Oleksandr Usyk. Give us your thoughts on this matchup. I've seen when it first got announced, I think the general consensus seemed to be big heavyweight, good cruiserweight. Joshua will eventually get to him. Now, as fight weeks have slowly approached, I think people have seen Usyk, maybe a bit of size on him, maybe seen Joshua's size, and I think people are now seeing it a little bit closer. What's your sort of take on it?
I think it's down to the intellect of Usyk, what he brings. And that's why he's like, you got to say he's like top 5 pound for pound.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not, as a heavyweight, he won't be higher than Anthony Joshua for Anthony Joshua's accomplishments. But as a pound for pounder, he's more multifaceted than Anthony Joshua. But what I'm saying is this, is like, depending on what Anthony Joshua decides to bring to the table, it's got to be down to his mental aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
If Anthony Joshua decides to box with Usyk, I believe that he will come second best because he's not using his best attributes. His best attributes would be his athleticism, the fact that he's very fast as well, and he can punch. And people are getting confused by watching what Anthony Joshua done against Ruiz, thinking that that's Anthony Joshua. No, Anthony Joshua just added something to his game, stuck to a game plan, and was actually fighting demons in there because he previously got stopped by the guy, right? So everyone's looking at, but you should have blasted out Ruiz. So say he tried to do that blasted out thing, got tagged and then got knocked out by Ruiz. Everyone said, you see, Anthony Joshua should have boxed. No, Anthony Joshua did what he had to do to win. Could you imagine him doing something that he's not stylistically used to doing by sticking to a game plan and boxing and moving and boxing and moving and boxing and moving some more? All the credit in the world should be given to Andy Joshua on what he did against Andy Ruiz. But, on the rules, people sitting down thinking that we're going to see like a Lennox Lewis Hassan Rackman too, where when Lennox Lewis got knocked out but came back and just blasted out a guy. No, Andy Joshua is saying, well, I'm going to use smarts. So we got to give a man, when people do things that we're not stylistically used to seeing, we complain about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Could you imagine like Pavarotti was to rap like Jay-Z? We'd think something's wrong, right?
In 2021, what we're seeing in boxing, that wouldn't even surprise me. I'm not even
yeah, exactly. But
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but this is a different kettle of fish because Usyk is a master boxer, right? But in saying this, sometimes we can fall for the kidology of these men being so masterful in their boxing because we saw what Teofimo Lopez did to Lomachenko. Don't get twisted. Lomachenko is still excellent. Regardless that he lost that fight, he's still bloody excellent. Right, exactly. He's still excellent. But Anthony Joshua needs to use his athleticism. The fact of if you're up close with a southpaw, it doesn't matter when you're up close. If you can close range, should study Evander Holyfield's second fight against Michael Moorer, how Evander Holyfield will keep on pouring out his left jab, to use that as also a blocker to the jab and also the power shot left hand of a southpaw. and they closed the range so he could then throw his hard shots. And he throw little tiny bursts, but they were hurtful bursts. Even though they were tiny, they weren't like 8-punch combinations. They were tiny bursts, 3s and 4s, and that's what Anthony Joshua should do in my mind, right? But if he tries to engage the guy, what he's done is he's thrown away his best attributes and enhanced the attributes of Oleksandr Usyk, who I believe is an excellent. He's excellent. No one can't. I've watched lots of boxing. You'd have to get up very early in the morning to say that you watch more boxing than me. And that guy he's superb, right? But, and here is the but. Your 2 fights at heavyweight have not impressed me, right?
Yeah.
And you can't bring the guy that boxed, and he was very truthful after he boxed. And Derek Chisora saying, like, I want to be world champion, but I know I've got to be better than this. And I rate that. I rate that because he's not under any illusion. He knows like what he's going to have to bring to the table. But what I'm saying is, similarly to when Nigel Benn boxed Chris Eubank, the first fight was that November of 1990. And he was asked, like, did you underestimate Chris Eubank by Gary Newborn? That fight was at Birmingham NEC. And Nigel Benn said, no, I overestimated him, thinking that he was really going to be that good. Do you know what I mean? That certain things are not going to do because you think they're that good. Usyk is good, but what you have to look at, you don't become a silver medalist in the World Games. You don't become an Olympic gold medalist. You don't become a unified heavyweight champion if you don't know what you're doing. So Anthony Joshua needs to rate himself as well. I'm not saying that he's not rating himself, but he needs to rate himself as well. Don't believe the hype in Usyk, but be wary of the hype.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But if he can close range, which I believe that he will be able to do, and not look to try and punch the head because he's that sneaky, but Allard, Tommy Hearns versus Roberto Duran, people don't understand how great Roberto Duran's defensive skills were. They were superb. We're in 1984 when they fought, and he just triggered the jab to the chest to lower the guard and then let off that big right hand. You're doing it with a southpaw right now, and everyone's saying, well, it's the right hand for the southpaw, but also it's the right hand. But I've seen left hooks are very, very successful against southpaws. I've seen that a few times. So I think if he can incorporate that, which I believe that he will be able to incorporate, then yeah, I could see Anthony Joshua stoppage. But for some strange reason, I think Anthony Joshua is going to win this fight on points. For some strange reason. But I've got Anthony Joshua winning. I've got him winning. But you know what? I'm going to be real. Usyk can knock him out. Because Usyk's very good. Yeah. Usyk is very... Bro, I'm just telling you the rules, man. Come on, man. Usyk is very good at lulling people in, right? And I had this argument where I was talking about IQ, and I think like certain fighters, Tony Bellew has an extraordinary IQ of boxing,
underrated,
right?
Yeah.
No. Well, it's not underrated by me, my friend.
Not
Tony Bellew has a very... Yeah, I know. Tony Bellew... Yeah, Tony Bellew has a very, very good IQ. And Usyk managed to lose a couple of rounds to position him to where he wanted him so he could throw the shots. And that's when you know the guy's serious. Right. Very, very good fight.
I've literally watched that fight just before we had this conversation. I was there live anyway, but you could see how, obviously, Bellew did look exhausted, but he was exhausted because of the mental games that Usyk was almost moving him round with his footwork.
Yeah.
Literally, you could see the life. It was almost like the thinking of what Usyk's going to do is taking the life out of him. Then eventually, like you said, he set him up for that shot, and it was good night. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, but here's the difference: is this right? Anthony Joshua knows what's on the line in this fight here. And I think Mike Tyson like punching with mean intentions, bad intentions. I think he's gonna be punching with bad intentions here. And with someone like Usyk, punch arms, punch shoulders, punch kidneys. Do that. Let this guy know, like, you're really now in with heavyweights. This is not like real heavyweights. Anthony Joshua is a real heavyweight. You know what I mean? Look at the guy. Even though he's come down in weight, maybe it's because he's going to be trying trying to be a little bit more quicker and a little bit more faster. And I think Usyk is incredibly athletic, right? You can see all the stuff that he can do, you know what I mean? Like the juggling and the football skills and all the rest of it. That don't mean nothing if you're getting punched in your head by Anthony Joshua. And if Anthony Joshua employs that game plan, he's coming out successful. But like I keep on telling you, this is not an easy fight. I still got him winning, but it's not an easy fight. But it's me, in all this me saying this, Anthony Joshua can also really go out there and blaze him in 3 rounds.
Yeah, it could.
Right.
It could well happen, and it shouldn't be a surprise because of what he's achieved already. Like,
no. You know what I mean? But I'm speaking to a lot of respected heads, and they're saying Usyk's gonna win. I can't see Usyk winning, but I can see him knocking out Joshua. But I'm saying no. Like if I had to put, no, definitely got Anthony Joshua winning this one.
Well, let's see what happens. Another fight that got made a couple of days ago: Dillian Whyte versus Otto Wallin. The gentleman who went in there with Tyson Fury, and then he went and knocked out Dominic Brazil in a fight shortly after. A pretty good fight. I think he was supposed to be fighting Chris Arreola at one point, who just come off a points loss to Andy Ruiz. But yeah, Dillian Whyte versus Otto Wallin. What do you make of that matchup?
It's a good fight.
I think it's a very good fight.
It's a good fight, especially for the performance that Otto Wallin put in against Tyson Fury. He did put in a good performance against Tyson Fury. And I mean, Tyson Fury is arguably the best heavyweight in the world, right? But I would. It's a good fight because I prefer this fight than the Arreola fight.
Yeah. Same. Definitely.
Right. I prefer this fight. Like Arreola's a bit long in the tooth. I mean, lost to Deontay Wilder, lost to Klitschko. He's long in the tooth. But he does come to fight, and he put in a hell of a performance against Andy Ruiz. But this fight is a better fight because Wallin is fresher. There's a lot of insiders thinking that Wallin's going to win this fight. Yeah, a lot of insiders are saying they think Wallin's going to win this fight. But I'm not just the fact of my personal relationship with Dillian Whyte. Put that to one side. I've definitely got Dillian Whyte winning this fight impressively, especially now that he's learning new things. You know what I mean? Props to his trainer, because I see the graph that he's put in there with Xavier. They've really put in a graph. And the next thing I think is a little bit that Xavier doesn't get more credit for what he's doing, because he looks young, but he's not young. And I remember when he was starting off saying, I'm looking to open my gym and blah. So he's been fast tracked with success, and it takes a measure because Dillian Whyte is a person that fine tooth combs a lot of things. So for him to have said, right, you are the head trainer in there, you know what? I think we should give the kid credit. He's also got Harold the Shadow Knight in there. He used to work famously with Lennox Lewis. So he's got with Harold the Shadow Knight, he's got a plethora of experience there. So, you know what I mean? And sometimes you need the young guns, but you need the old guys as well, old dogs as well, especially the old dogs who've been well-versed and been in the game for a hot minute. So I've got Dillian Whyte winning that fight. It's all about making adjustments. So, yeah, Dillian should come out. And Dillian come out victorious. That's gonna be a very entertaining fight. And I mean very entertaining fight.
I think it looks better for, not that it matters, because he's took on challenge after challenge, sometimes when he didn't even really technically need to in terms of risk. But he's going against a guy, like you said, who has come off that good performance against Tyson. Rough Tyson up, give him a really good fight. And he's, like you said, he's coming off wins.
He's cut him badly as well, right?
Bad, and he didn't show him no respect for that cut. He was trying to muffle him, and he was. Right. So he will come to cause a major upset. So I think that speaks volumes once again for Dillian Whyte. And I do hope one day, although everyone wants to see Undisputed, like if there's anyone that deserves a title shot, that guy.
It's ridiculous now. I don't want to keep on going about it.
No.
Hopefully he doesn't get a title shot. We shall see. You know what I mean? It's Dillian Whyte's first appearance on DAZN. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's going to be a fight at O2. And I mean, Dillian, fair play to Dillian, because every time he does fight, I always get 2 ringside seats to sit with his mum. So, you know what I mean? So big up Dillian Whyte.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. another good fight that was made in the welterweight division. I know everyone was sort of clamouring for a good while for Crawford and Spence. I know Spence got that torn retina before in the build to the Pacquiao fight. But Crawford and Shawn Porter, that's just been made. That's
yeah, Crawford and Shawn Porter, absolutely excellent fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, excellent fight. I'm so looking forward to that.
What do you mean by that fight? Obviously, Shawn Porter, former world champion himself. It's a really good fan-friendly fight, I think, because Shawn Porter's, he will come no matter what.
No, he comes to bring it. That's his forte. That's how he fights. But I think you're gonna have to go with Terence Crawford to come out victorious, because the guy's very good. But the thing about it is this: now we're gonna see, this is Terence Crawford's most relevant fight at 147. So now we're gonna say, okay, then we're gonna know what you're about. So we can gauge really and truly, because you're a pound for pound, no doubt. You know what I mean, you're top 3. So now we can really gauge like how you are in the welterweight division, because you look at the resume of Porter, he's been in with everybody, right? And I mean everybody. And nobody has had an easy night with him. Nobody. So and if he's up for it, which I know that he's going to be up for it, I'm sitting down studiously with popcorn to watch that one, because it's going to be a very, very good fight.
Yeah, I agree. I'm interested to see how Crawford handles a guy like Porter, who's going to literally zone in on him, and you would assume just do what he does Shawn Porter and goes through and brings that all-action style. So I'm very interested to see how that one plays out.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I know both guys well, so I don't want to say enough to piss off no one, but but that is going to be a very good fight.
I'm looking forward to that.
And the statement will be made if Terence Crawford could stop him, right? Yeah. Then that's where the statement has truly been made.
Big that.
Yeah, that will be a big thing.
If he does get past Shawn Porter, how big is a fight with Errol Spence? Put that into sort of perspective. Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. How big a fight is that? And do you think that fight can get made? Because it seems like
I do think the fight can be made. Yeah, I do think the fight can be made, and I think the fight will be made if he puts in that performance, which I believe that he will put in. I think the fight will be made.
Who would you have as favourite in that fight going in, Spence or Crawford?
You know what? I like Errol Spence a lot. Right? But I've always favoured Terence Crawford to beat Errol Spence. Always. And this is before the accident. I'm talking like 3 years ago when they're speaking about that fight, right? Yeah. I remember speaking about that. Who was it? It was me and Gayao fight on Sky in the good old days, and I was talking about that. And I remember he was going Spence hard, and I was saying, no. I remember Paulie Malignaggi's going for Spence hard then. But I'm saying since the car crash, his fight with Garcia didn't overly impress me. But I'm giving you the fact that it was a car crash. But I would like to make that. Let me see how he does against Shawn Porter, and then I'll come, because I'm not that. You know what I mean? Let me just see that first, because we did see Terence Crawford get hurt against Kavaliauskas, and no one can't tell me that Kavaliauskas didn't floor you, because he did floor you, right? And that's that. So it wasn't counted as a knockdown, but Kavaliauskas is one big, strong human being, right? But I would say that Shawn Porter is equally as strong, and he's buzzsaw-like. And I know he's going to be up for this fight like no one's business. So after this fight, I'd like to make my decision so I can gauge it, because that's a very, very good gauging fight to watch, because they will have a common opponent. And we say, okay, well, you box him and like, right. Even though styles make fights, but there's a gauging opponent we can watch, and then we can make an assessment for.
Yeah, fair point. And we'll end it on this. Just wanted to speak on Manny Pacquiao. He's announced his retirement from boxing at the age of 42. Leaves the sport as an 8-weight world champion across 4 decades. Talk to me about the impact this guy's had on the sport of boxing and his career as a whole.
The guy's been amazing. You'd have to say he's greater than Floyd Mayweather. He's not better than Floyd Mayweather, right?
Yeah,
he's greater. Right. He's not better than Floyd, no, but he's greater than Floyd. He's greater than Floyd because of the accomplishments, right? And the fact of him being a multi-8-weight world champion, right? He's gone through the divisions. He's banged out guys in the division. Yeah, and not only that, he's a beautiful ambassador of the sport. Outside of being involved in boxing, just his humanitarian work and stuff like that. Like Manny Pacquiao's been superb. I remember I was going hard for Ricky Hatton to beat him. I mean, hard. I was telling everyone, Ricky Hatton's going to beat him. Telling him Ricky Hatton's going to beat him. And the way he destroyed Ricky Hatton, like, I still think the Floyd Mayweather then fighting, like, was that 2009? Floyd Mayweather back then, I still believe that Floyd Mayweather would have beaten that Manny Pacquiao. But I think the fight would have been so much more competitive. But I still think Floyd would have beaten him. Yeah. Right? That's what I'm saying. I still think Floyd would have beaten him. But yeah, it's, you know what I mean? Manny Pacquiao's been excellent. And I may enjoy his retirement because you can see in the fight against Ugas, who I did tip Ugas to beat him as well. You can see it wasn't there. But the thing about it is this, he's not shot. He's just not Manny Pacquiao of 2-3 years ago. But he's not a shot fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he could still go in there with some very good names and beat him. But it was like, you know what I mean? The thing that remains unbeaten is Father Time. You can't beat Father Time. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, he couldn't beat it. But if you look at the things that he has done, or the incredible fights that he has been in, just watch his fight with Cotto, and then you realize just how smart that man is as well. You know what I mean? I'll tell you a fight when he fights who was it? Joshua Clottey. When he fights.
Yeah.
Right.
2009.
Right. That's right. When he fights Clottey, Clottey is a unit and a very, very strong human being. And the way Manny Pacquiao carefully maneuvered him to throw those fast shots and then move off, say, like, I'm not getting involved with you because I know how strong you are. And just demoralized him, even though he beat him on point, but just demoralized him by taking away his best attributes, which is punching power. And Manny Pacquiao, a really, really great fighter, really superb fighter. That's all I gotta say. And you know what I mean? He's gonna be missed in boxing because it just seems like he's been around for so long.
So long, yeah. Yeah. Say 4 decades.
And like he lose fights and reinvent himself, come back and beat up guys again. He's gonna be sorely missed. I'm gonna be real with you, gonna be sorely missed.
I think when you look at the knockout to Marquez, for him to come back from that and come back and then people were like, almost like when he fought Floyd, everyone was like, oh, this, that, and the other. But then he went and beat Thurman, you know, obviously Braun, right. But he sat
but the Thurman win was incredible. The Braun win was incredible. So, like I said, he was an old man beating young fighters. You know what I mean? All the credit in the world. Manny Pacquiao, he's gonna be sorely missed. Great fighter.
Well, Spencer Fearon, took a bit of your time today and appreciate it very much.
Nah, man, always, Matt. It's always a pleasure speaking to you, man. I love speaking to you. You know what I mean? And that's the God's honest truth. You know what I mean? Because you enjoy speaking about the game, and I love speaking boxing to anybody who enjoys the game. I'm really tired right now. I got to my bed in a minute, mate. But yeah, pleasure speaking to you, my brother. You know what I mean? So, like, I got Joshua winning the fight by round 8. Right, that's my prediction. I got Joshua winning by round 8. So yeah, hold me on that prediction.
Well, we'll see if you're right. You're not too far off the mark a lot of the time. So we'll see if you're right, my friend.
A little bit. All right, you down there? Are you down at the fight?
I'm not. Michelle's down at the fight for this one. Okay. I'm going to Fowler and Smith in Liverpool.
That's going to be a very good fight.
Good card.
That is going to be a very good fight. A very, very good fight. Yeah, I mean, I might go to that fight, you know. I might go to that fight.
Who'd you tip for that one?
I like both guys, but I know the Smith family really well. So yeah, I mean, I'm slightly tipping Smith. I'm slightly tipping Smith in that fight just because of the experience, and I reckon that he's really going to be up for that fight. Yeah. But you know what, Fowler under the tutelage of Shane McGuigan just looks like even physically looks different. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I'm slightly tipping Smith, and I hope that I don't get blocked from Anthony Fowler's Instagram now.
Oh gosh. Well, we'll soon see. I'm sure they'll respect your opinion, my friend. Right.
Yeah. All right, my brother.
Appreciate your time.
Take care. God bless.
See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
It's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else